The question I want to ask is really simple. Is there any job security left in the WWE? Now, the WWE have fired a whole bunch of people recently. Again, after firing a whole bunch of people previous. And while we will be talking about what happened and why, we also have to spare a moment to discuss those wrestlers left behind who are increasingly unhappy to be there. A great example of this would be two wrestlers who are set to fight out in a dark match before tonight's WWE SmackDown. That will be Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly. Both of these men are very capable and experienced. Both have carried some major feuds in NXT. Gargano has even wrestled quite a few matches on the main roster. Why then are the two having a tryout match, a dark match at that, before SmackDown? Well, it's actually quite simple. Vince McMahon and other members of the backstage top brass, as it were, want the opportunity to both see them in action and talk to them face to face. Right now, here are multiple wrestlers coming to the ends of their contracts. We know this about Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly. There's also more that we don't know about. Some of those wrestlers would likely have already been fired if not for the fact that if the WWE waits long enough, they'll be out the door on their own so they can save a little bit of face. This includes Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and as before mentioned, Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly. Having seen so many friends and allies fired, what incentive do any of these people have to sign a new contract? The WWE find themselves in the position, once again, of trying desperately to convince someone that they want to keep that they are the horse to back. Unfortunately, they're kind of not the horse to back. The WWE are losing wrestlers constantly, and not just because they want to. They have lost people again and again in situations that they have no control over because people do not want to commit to the WWE. Losing Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole has got to hurt, especially if they're wrestlers that you are hoping to compete against. If you're a wrestler just coming up in that NXT developmental territory and you see Adam Cole leave and you see Bryan Danielson leave, you're missing out on something that you probably were very, very excited to jump in against. It's also been firmly proven that a high-earning contract is not actually protection from being fired. This is the Braun Strowman effect, where a high performer being consistently used also loses his job because his earnings still outstrip what Nick Khan considers to be his usefulness. That's what the cost-benefit analysis is. Is the amount you earn more than your usefulness to the company? Kyle O'Reilly will have a fairly big offer on the table. With that comes some major expectations nowadays that you will not only get over, but you will get over enough to justify it. How often do you see a company where people work hard, earn the company a ton of money, and still get fired one day with no warning? I feel confident that the answer is more often than you should. Ring of Honor also did this recently. They just wiped out the contracts of everybody with no warning, and literally the people being fired found out on social media. With AEW also, the day is coming, but not to anywhere near this extent. They do have a number of contracts coming up soon, and they will be releasing people. However, that moment has not come just yet. This is wrestling at the moment, and it is staggering how ridiculous the concept is. Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly at least have big offers on the table, but is it worth trusting it? If I'm a WWE wrestler, I think I would much rather be paid in peanuts because at least then I might be still eating those peanuts a week from now and not out on my arse of a 90-day wait around. The big question, and the question that the WWE is still trying to find the answer to, is whether any of these wrestlers in question actually want to stay. Most of them don't, and this is one of the main reasons their contract situations have been leaked. Always remember that if news like this gets out, it's because somebody wanted it to, usually the person in question. In times past, it was all about getting a certain leverage to make sure that they get the money that they want. Nowadays? Well, nowadays it just reads like a polite little fuck you right in Vince McMahon's face.